What's up, guys? It's Friday, August 7th, 2020, and this is a new edition of Fritzcast. And yes, I'm repping the Flyers, baby. I'm repping the Flyers. Why? Because hockey is at least in play right now. We have at least something. We have some hockey. We have some basketball. There's still some baseball going on. It's not normal. It's not normalcy, but it's something. It's something that's there. Right? It's something, and I gotta be pumped for the Flyers anyway. I mean, Stanley Cup, I don't care if it's going to be a season with an asterisk or whatever. The Flyers are on fire. They were on fire before COVID started. COVID happened, ruined everything. They're still on fire. I could not be more excited for that at all. But how are you guys doing? And speaking of some semblance of normalcy, there's a little bit of a mess behind me. That's a little bit normal. We're going to clean up a little bit more, spruce up a little bit, make it look better. But you guys, who cares? Who really cares? Earlier today, went out with the family because Delaware's not in complete and total lockdown. We actually went to Main Event today, which Main Event is, if you don't know what it is, it's like this big entertainment complex. It's got the arcade games, it's got bowling, it's got laser tag, it's got like a little bit of everything, including way overpriced food. Excuse me. In fact, I got to pull up one of the sad facts of just, I guess it's adult dad life. But let me switch my Chrome screen here. Look at this thing. Look at this Main Event burger. Main Event burger for $15, and it's 2,170 calories. Damn. I was saying my high school self. Back in high school, I was a big boy. Back in high school, I was nearly 300 pounds. In high school, and not the good like linebacker 300 like built like a stone. I'm just talking fatty. I was just a big old fatty. I used to eat entire pizzas, on Fridays and crap like that. High school me would be all over that. It wouldn't even care about this at all. I'm like 255 right now, which is, that's still big for me. It's not 300 pounds big. But when you're aiming to get down to like 220, 225, it's a bit much, It's a significant amount, I think, to want to try to lose. And I'm happy where I'm at now in retrospect and looking at that. But I looked at that today. I saw that on the menu. We didn't order anything. I had lunch at home. Then we went to go bowling and stuff. And I guess it's dad me. That's just like, can't have that. Man, my buddy Steven Ignoramus commented on it and said, you just have to have like a really, what exactly did he say? He said, just have one day with a Hulk-esque workout. And I'm like, no. You'd have to be The Rock. You'd have to do Dwayne The Rock Johnson every day for the rest of your life for that to not affect you in a negative way. I'm having really good coffee right now. This is my specialty, like sit back and enjoy coffee. It's from 8 O'Clock Coffee Company. This isn't an ad, by the way. I don't do ads. This is something I just drink. It's 8 O'Clock Coffee Company. It's like Blueberry Crisp. It's this new line that they put out, and if you're in the stores and you see it, they're in these black bags. They say EOC coffee, and lots of sales are going on because there's a new line that they did. It's a very, from what I can taste from this one, it's a strong, bold, flavored line of coffee, but it's like a good cup to sit back and just want to sip on and enjoy, not one that you're going to down in the morning or anything. But I digress. I just went on a tirade there. We went to Main Event today, and that's the first time in a long time that I've gone out and done something normal-ish, other than like, grocery shopping or anything. in a long, long time under this COVID business, which, COVID has changed so much, and there's so much debate over, is it worth it? Is what we're doing worth it? Is it overkill? What's going on? What's the real story here? And it's tough. It's tough for me to really say one way or another whether we're an overkill. I think we are a little bit. I think my episode last week kind of gave you my little boiling point of sorts of where I stand with the subject, especially because we have so many people going out and protesting, which isn't spoken out against at all, but any other activity that you would do outside is. In fact, I don't have it bookmarked, but I think it was the mayor of LA County has greenlit the idea of the LAPD being able to shut off water and electric to people's houses if they're hosting parties, or if they have excessive amounts of people over. Which both I think the idea that the mayor is passing this authority onto the police department, especially in a time when there is mass protesting about police reforms needing to be in place. I mean, that's tyranny. That is literal tyranny. That people, I can't believe people are not speaking out against that. It's like a human rights violation, straight up. And I just found it. I just found the article. We'll switch back to Chrome screen real quick. It's so bright, I'm gonna die. Everybody listening on audio is like, what's he talking about? Yeah, LA houses that throw big parties will have water and power shut off, mayor says. Erica Garcetti authorized the LA Department of Water and Power to shut off services to homes found to be repeat violators of the city's ban on large gatherings. Measures meant to slow the spread of COVID-19, yada, yada, yada. Starting on Friday night, if LAPD responds and verifies that a large gathering is occurring at a property, and we see these properties offending time and time again, they will provide notice and initiate the process to request that DWP, shut off the service within the next 48 hours, the mayor said at a press conference. We don't even need to dive into the rest of the nuances of that. That is straight. Nobody should be in support of that at all. I don't care how you feel about COVID and the spread, and if you sit there and say, oh, those people earned it or whatever, a large gathering could be enough people's family members who are following these precautions day in and day out, but they simply gathered in one area of a home and decided to have, to celebrate, somebody's birthday or a milestone or just a family freaking get together. I don't see these as like big devilish things, but I do see such a statement from the mayor as being a big devilish thing. I really do. But again, went on a tirade. Probably should keep myself in check just a hair more. So we went to main event, and this was the first time outside of work, which work I interact and have to work around a lot of individuals and people. Other than going to the grocery store or other basics like having to drop something off at UPS, FedEx, or whatever, I don't venture out into places a lot. I don't. I work midnight to 8, and then I come home and I go to sleep from 8 a.m. to like 3 or 4 p.m. Thankfully, I've been off for the last week, and I have a whole nother week off. Did I just say that? A whole nother week. I have an additional week off for you freaking English bums out there. I have an additional week off coming up, and I'm very thankful for having the opportunity and all that. But we went to main event to bowl and check out the arcade. We ended up not doing the arcade. We bowled for like an hour and a half or whatever. With our family, not everybody in the same household, but, family members that, by the way, we've been frequenting all during this pandemic. If you want to say that I'm irresponsible for that, I'm not going to come up with something to say to you that makes you, that tries to justify it. I don't have to justify it to anybody. I don't think. This is family. I went to see my mother last week on her birthday because it was her not 74th birthday, but I went to go see her on her birthday because that's my mother, and as far as I know, I wasn't sick, and we don't really go out and about like that. And furthermore, my mother was more than happy to have us over. That being said, it was weird to me to be out and about in a public place where there was other people like that, and not have it not be something like shopping, grocery shopping, or anything like that. It's really weird. It's really weird, and maybe it shouldn't be really weird. If I've been going to the grocery store like normal since the start of this thing, and I have, let's face it, almost everybody has. There might be some people out there who are going to self-righteously say that they use something like Instacart or something to, do their part, but guess what? All using Instacart meant is that you sent somebody else into harm's way. That's literally all that Instacart would absolve you of. You paid somebody to go into the supermarket instead of you because you didn't want to go to the supermarket. Which, by the way, I use Instacart as well. I used Instacart all the way leading up to the pandemic. I actually stopped during the pandemic so that I could go, because I would go in the Instacart app and things would be blotted out. It'd be like, low inventory, may not get. And I was like, this ain't worth it. I'm going to go to the store myself because I'll be able to see what's there. I'll be able to pick what's there. But we just recently switched back to Instacart because those inventory problems, aren't happening as much now. And it's just convenient. It's just damn convenient. I didn't want to go to the grocery store on this period where I'm off at work. I don't want to go do normal stuff. I wanted to be on vacation, but that didn't happen. So, sorry. There's a big thunderstorm going on outside. There was a big thunderstorm before we even started the show. So hopefully the power don't go out because I'll have to start from the beginning. But yeah, should it be weird to be going out and doing something like that? And should you feel any shred of guilt or anything? This pandemic thing. I just want to. We're gonna go back to the Chrome screen momentarily. Yes, here's the clip. Let me give it a little refresh real quick. University of Georgia students and staff held a die-in protest of the school's planned fall reopening. I don't even know if my video is going to play. My internet might be acting up because of it. But as you can see, these are students and staff collectively gathered outside, lying down, holding, tombstones and other signs about how this will be a big death camp if college opens back up and does full service college, which ultimately, again, this goes back to yeah, you have a right to protest. I fully believe you have a right to protest. In times like these where people are extra precaution, they're extra precautionary. If you wanted to opt out of the school year, I'm not going to blame you if you opt out of the school year. However, I have to bring this point up because this is the thing that popped in my head when I saw this. They're protesting the school's reopening. Are they on the campus right now, or are they off the campus? And did they travel to the did they travel back to the campus to protest the fact that the campus wants to open back up and bring them back to so did they go to the campus to protest the fact that they might have to go back to the campus at the start of the school year? I don't get that. I don't get if you're protesting it, you don't want to go back because it's unsafe. Okay, well, why'd you go back to protest? Did you carpool in there with people that aren't of your household? Because by the rules, that kind of makes you a hypocrite, doesn't it? I guess it's different if they're living on the campus right now, but from my understanding, a lot of college campuses like that are literally vacated. They don't have people staying there, or very, very minimal people staying on campuses like that. In which case, I mean, you can protest the campus's thing. You're not beholden to the campus. You're really not. This is, in my mind, this is Fritz's mind now. If I was a college student, and I think it's dumb for the college to open back up because there's not a good plan in place for social distancing or something like that, and they say, well, screw it, we're going to do what we're going to do, live with it, either come back and go through it or don't. My form of protest would be, okay, I'm withdrawing from your school then. I'm withdrawing because here's the thing. Everybody wants to talk about education. Higher education is a right, right? You know, it's a right to go get a higher education. That's why we need to pass taxes and bills and stuff that'll make the government make this a right and make it free or tuition free, as our friend Bernard Sanders would say. I've broken the fourth wall. Obviously, I don't have a Bernie Sanders costume. If I did, that would be epic. If I could have myself as Bernard over here and then have me over here interviewing Bernard. But I'm not that good. I'm not, okay? I'm not that good. We want to talk about education like that. That's not the way the educational system is set up in America. Let's face facts. All right, what you have right now. Focus on what you have right now. What you have right now is colleges and universities that are set up as businesses. They're not set up as these pillars of educational prominence, you know? They're not these bastions to educate you. They are business schemes. To get you in, you either pay or you get financial aid, which anybody can get financial aid. I got financial aid. Big mistake for me getting financial aid. For those of you who don't know, I have a bachelor's degree in communications. Okay? I do. The job that I'm in right now, I've had for 8 years without a degree. I've earned my degree during my tenure at work. My work has not covered a dime of it. I took out student loans. I filled out the FAFSA and I got the financial aid. And guess how much it has benefited me as of right now? Diddly squat. Diddly squat. I could be in the position that I'm in right now without it. Could it have contributed it to my promoting into the position that I'm in? Possibly, but it's not that big of a factor. It's really not. So I undertook a lot of debt to get a degree in communications, which was dumb. You ask me if I had the keys to DeLorean, what would I tell my 18-year-old self? Forget college. Just forget it. Keep plotting on what you're doing. Keep on the path that you're on. Push borrowing money to go to school out of your head, and you'll be fine. You won't pile on any debt. I might say something about credit cards. I might say, stay away from the credit cards. Have a credit card, pay it off at the end of every month. This is actually stuff that I started with, and then I just, I was a dumb kid and got irresponsible. Anyway, schools are businesses. That's the way college is. It's a business. Even if we put into place government funding of it and making it tuition free and all that, it's still a business. There's still money getting funneled to it somehow. And the results don't really matter. I mean, if you think about it, think about how many people have gotten their bachelor's degree and they aren't in a better position than before they had the bachelor's degree. There's people who've done that with master's degrees. Okay, so some of those people did it smart and had grants and scholarships and money saved up, but still, they haven't bettered their situation with that. That would, to me at least anyway, show that there's either something with the job market in providing jobs for people who have degrees, or there's a problem with the educational institution itself because it's not leading to massive results. That being said, we went on a journey there. We went on a tirade. It's a tirade kind of day, and it's probably because I'm drinking a lot of coffee. All right? Get over it. If your school, if your college is doing this, what is the best form of protest you have other than saying, this is the money that you were going to get, and you're not going to get it now because I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to find a university that is providing online services or at least putting in the social distancing into place, and you don't get my business. Seems like a legitimate form of protest to me. It's better, smarter than saying, hey, the campus isn't doing social distancing. They're going to open back up, and I think that's dumb. So let's go travel down to the campus and all lie down together in a big field. We'll be socially distant or whatever, but we're going to protest the fact that it's opening back up, even though we can all gather and protest the fact that it's opening back up. It's dumb. It's dumb in my mind. Really is. Really is. You know what else is dumb in my mind? Segway. We're working on Fritzcast. We're trying to streamline the program and make it a little better. Speaking of stupid, I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this or not. And I've decided that I got to touch up on it. Just because it took over Libertarian Twitter. So, I'm looking at, it was Austin Peterson. And here's the tweet. So, Chrome screen. Run it. Austin Peterson, former Libertarian presidential candidate, and then jumped to the GOP, ran for Missouri Senate, and lost out to Josh Hawley, I think. Don't hold me to that. Anyway, he shared this Al Jazeera English post because it was the 75th anniversary the other day of the world's first atomic bombing that killed, quote-unquote, more than 140,000 people. The post from Al Jazeera said the U.S. has never apologized for the bombings. Austin Peterson tweets out the article with his saying, apologies are for when you have done something wrong. This lit Libertarian Twitter on fire, obviously. You have this mix of things, and obviously you can see I'm in there. But just for an example, this guy, Mag062367, wrote, dropping those 2 atom bombs saved millions of Americans and Japanese lives. An invasion of Japan would have been a bloodbath. Libertarian, at Libertarian. If dropping an atomic bomb on civilians isn't wrong, I'm not sure what is. Austin Peterson said, shouldn't have been standing there. Is he trolling? What's he going with this? I don't know. Minarchy Thinker at 216 Thinker on Twitter. What? I can't believe you're saying this. Like, I understand we had to drop the bombs because the only other option, invasion, was even worse, but we still killed innocent civilians in that blast. Austin says, and? Mike Star is 100% done at Mike Star. All right, Mike Stir on Twitter, paraphrasing, quote, vaporizing over 100,000 innocent people is totally okay with me. Literally, Austin Peterson. There's a bunch of other ones. Someone else who's a good friend of mine from the Sarcasm and Liberty group This is your worst take. Pariah Dog 1312 at PDog119. Austin Peterson again disappoints, choosing to defend the lesser of two evils as if it weren't still evil. Austin says it wasn't evil. There's a plethora of more. Now, let me before I read what I've posted here, let me just say I did some reflecting on this 75th anniversary of the dropping of the atomic bomb. Not at this level of I don't know what to call it, libertarian shit posting. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to call this, but when I think back on events that have happened long before we were born, because let's face it, a lot of people talking about this weren't alive then. When we talk about something that happened historically, okay, I always take it with a grain of salt. I always try to not look at it through today's lens, because today's lens distorts literally everything. Even so much as a time not that far back, it distorts things. So I try not to do it. All right, I have this argument with libertarians all the time over the Civil War, the United States Civil War, because a ton of libertarians will absolutely vehemently and righteously defend the Confederacy of the United States and say that the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery, nothing to do with freeing the slaves, and was all just about federal power overreach, okay? There's a lot wrong in that. There's a lot we can pick apart, including reading many of the declarations of secession and what was in the writings of the states that were seceding about slavery, because a lot of them did mention slavery. At the end of the day, let me read my take. So, I said, I don't know if Eisenhower meant this, but I agree much with the sentiment. And I'll read the passage after this. In the book, Eisenhower described in a meeting in which he stated his misgivings about the use of the bomb to Stimson. Quote, I expressed the hope that we would never have to use such a thing against any enemy because I disliked seeing the United States take the lead in introducing into war something as horrible and destructive as this new weapon was described to be. That quote sounds very much like Eisenhower's verbiage, if you've listened to Eisenhower's speeches and addresses before. The historian Barton Bernstein has concluded, after consulting as many corroborating sources as possible, that this discussion probably never took place and that Eisenhower likely misremembered it, perhaps in the service of making himself look like a morally centered military man. However, it is true, though, that Eisenhower grasped the revolutionary power of nuclear weapons earlier than most of his fellow career officers. After the war, he set up a staff of young analysts to work through the implications and collaborate with government scientists. Why did libertarian Twitter take almost all day yesterday on Twitter arguing about nuclear bombs and whether or not it was right to drop, or whether or not it was right, whether or not it was justified to drop a bomb on Japan in Hiroshima and then Nagasaki? Why? Why did we waste a whole day arguing about that? You know, it's funny because tomorrow there is a Let Her Speak rally for Joe Jorgensen, I think. LetHerSpeak.org. Bring back the Chrome screen. This is happening tomorrow, Saturday, August 8th at 12:30 p.m. Join us to demand Joe Jorgensen is allowed on the debate stage on the 2020 national debate stage. Things that they're hoping to do: Decorate your cards and drive parade style. Go live and talk to local media, print flyers, spread the word, get it noticed. In the practice of non-aggression principle, we will be driving convoy demonstration to peacefully protest the CPD debate regulations, the Commission on Presidential Debates. And we're providing all the media and marketing materials and support you need to make your regional event a hit. You can go on let-her-speak.org and you can look and see if your state and your county has a confirmed event or not. And I want to play this video real quick. That's happening tomorrow, but let's argue semantics over an event that happened in World War II where we're not even going to dive into nuances. We're just going to try to boil it down to, is it right, is it wrong? All right? At the very least, even if you are justifying, even if you're saying it was justified to drop the bombs on Japan, it should be followed up with something along the lines of, it's still horrific, it was really bad, it's a really dark mark on our history, wish it never happened, and, oh yeah, nuclear weapons are bad. That's probably what you should follow it up with if you're going to say justified. And if you're going to say completely unjustified and wrong, are you wrong? There's too much nuance to go into here. For me, like, if I wanted to really tackle that subject, I would have to go into a very long solo episode, and I'm not doing that. I would want to do it with people who are well versed in the subject as well, not just somebody who. I don't want it to be a debate thing. I wouldn't want it to be a this stance versus that stance. I'd want it to be boiling down facts, figures, and everything of that time, not trying to look at it from our standing here and looking back at it. Nuclear weapons are horrible, and the thing that gets me about that discussion is that there's a shit ton of you. There's a shit ton of you, okay, who not jokingly, you are dead serious. You dead serious try to take a stance of it should be an individual's right to own a nuclear weapon just because the government has them and you should be able to have the same firepower as your government. But if that's your stance and it was so terribly evil and wrong to drop one on Japan, how could you possibly justify a Joe Schmuck owning one knowing the possibilities? I'm not interested in ridiculous debates on that. I'm really not. I just want to move on from that. That being said, I'm trying to think, man. I want to go back to the Chrome screen because I got to share this little ditty too. You know, parts of me feel like the whole nuke discussion came because of what happened in Beirut. or Beirut. Am I saying that right? You know, Donald Trump mispronounced Yosemite. I think he called it I forget what he called it. He couldn't pronounce Yosemite, and he was talking about a big national park bill that he passed, and it was very, very sad to say that he couldn't you know, figure that out. But if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're not going to like what I'm about to show you. But if you saw that Beirut explosion, oh my God, it was insane. I don't know if this article has a video of it. There's a picture of the fires at the explosion site. Terrible. There was a storehouse that it was had ammonium nitrate, and this is all the New York Times article. This story breaks down what exactly happened, why there was over 2,000 pounds, I think it was, 2,000 tons of ammonium nitrate on this in a hangar bay on this dock from the ship that was it was abandoned by a Russian businessman. It was perhaps this has the shockwave video. Look at that destruction, man. I don't want to create a free account right now. It was terrible. It was terrible video that took place. I might have it in my Twitter messages. And I do. But my internet's going to be stupid and not want to play it. So we're going to bypass that. But if you look up Beirut blast, you'll see it. You will see it. And people were like, that was a nuclear explosion, because it was like a mushroom cloud that spread out. But there's lots and lots of video taken of it. And I can tell you, I'm not a bombs expert, but typically speaking, you can't film a nuclear explosion that close. You know, and I'm wondering if that played into, because it was the 75th anniversary of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki thing, if people just wanted to talk about. I thought it was dumb. I can't believe that you guys got into a huge discussion about something like that when, like, we're right now, and Donald Trump is the president, and Joe Biden is the candidate that's running against him, and we're trying to push forward Joe Jorgensen as a viable third party option. And are we going to try to save where we're at, or are we going to argue over things in the past that we can't even change? I think it's dumb. I really, truly think it's dumb. You know? I think we need to grow up a little bit. Everybody needs to take a chill pill and grow up. One other thing I posted this the other day too. This makes me sad. My home state. Newcastle County vehicles joining the fight against COVID-19 by getting face masks. They're putting face masks on like 11 county vehicles. They're going to see these out on the road or making appearances at public events. And they used nearly $8,000 of CARES Act funding to do this, to put giant, stupid face masks over the grills of cars. Over the grills of county cars. Giant, stupid face masks. It's a waste of $8,000, which I guess maybe they didn't have anything good to use the money for. I don't know. It's CARES Act money, right? It's just money thrown at them. So why not piss it away on face masks for cars? this late in the game, too, about, ooh, wear a mask. This late in the game. It's August. All right, this started back in March, April. Now you put face masks on the cars? Yeah. Even if you put face masks on the cars earlier, still stupid, still dumb. That's the world that we're living in. That's the world that we're living in today. My God. So, that's where we stand. We stand on arguing about nuclear weapons and whether or not something that happened in World War II that's done and over with and that you can't change. Not talking about what's happening this weekend with Joe Jorgensen, because who wants to make progress on a national scale in a presidential election? Who even wants to try to make a dent? Why bother? Right? Why try to get Joe Jorgensen on the debate stage? Right? They're writing articles about how the presidential debate this year shouldn't even happen. So why bother fighting that fight? Right? Why bother fighting that fight? That being said, that's going to do it for me for this week. I'm gonna cut it loose here. Next week, I actually have tentatively scheduled, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Theodore from Crowdfunded Government. He's been on he's gone mad. He's gone on a tirade, and he's going to come on the show, and we're going to have a discussion about his super secret, not so secret plot to take over the world, take over America. I believe that's what it is. When he messaged me back in July. I unfortunately had some scheduling difficulties and finding some time to talk about this, but he messaged me and he said, as soon as possible, I have a major update and direction change for Crowdfunded Government. I'm sending out this message to all podcasts, and I'm dropping Nukes next week. If you have 10 to 30 minutes for a quick, very special recording. That was back in July 12th, so I'm a couple weeks late, which I told him I'm sorry, bud. But he said, I'm going to be dropping it's Nukes this week. We're going to call this episode McNukes or something. I don't know. And then so when I sent him a reply, I said, like, nukes? Because I don't know what he's going to drop, but we're going to have him on the show. Pretty sure we're going to have him on the show next week. And it's going to be a fun time because we need another guest on Fritzcast. We need a guest for this month. We've had, Joe Jorgensen, Spike Cohen lately, and I've been on a couple of other people's shows making the rounds myself. So I'm very much looking forward to that discussion next week with Theodore. So if you're not following me on Twitter, it's at FritzQS. Literally any other form of social media like Parler, Minds.com. If you search Fritzcast, you will find me. Facebook.com/The Fritzcast for the Fritzcast Facebook page to get all the updates. And if you're following me on Twitter and Facebook, you've probably seen I've been putting out little snippet preview movie bit things for my previous episodes. You're going to see more of that because I want to put that out there. It's a great little marketing tool, I think, to throw out there and show people, flash it off, give you a little taste of the show, get you interested in the episode. So expect to see more of those. And if you see them and you thought, hey, man, I really like that episode, or I like what he said there, just, hit the little share button. It's not that hard. Hit the share button. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Bring them in. Not going to hurt you. I'm not going to drop a nuke on you if you don't, all right? Because dropping nukes on people is ultimately wrong. But anyway, like I said, we're not arguing about nuke dropping, okay? We're just not. We're not going to do it. All right, and then you can reach me at fritzcastpodcast@gmail.com for all your other needs, or if you're shy or whatever, you can do that. And that's going to do it for me for this week. This was a delightful tirade of an episode that went all around. Go Flyers. And if you don't like that, I'm not going to say bad words. I'm not going to say shove it or anything. Just, remember I love you. All right. See you guys next week.